Hello everyone, Zelrant here, and today I noticed the tier list on Sephi's website, lootandwaifus.com, has been updated for Girls Frontline 2 with Robella on it, so I thought we'd kind of take a look at that, and then I can kind of discuss my thoughts on it, as well as look at well, we won't watch the video, but I'll put a link to it, but the ending of what a kind of a damage looks like amongst your mono ice team in combat. And so we look at this, you can see that Robella got put in tier 2 on their list. Now just remember, theirs works a little bit different than Pride Ones. They take a lot more than just like a V0 into account. They take into consideration like their synergies, how well they work amongst other teams. So like that, synergies, as well as dupes to a certain extent. And that's why you kind of only have Klukai and Springfield at the tippity top on theirs, because Klukai can pretty much go in any team. She's amazing at V0, and she has some really good break points on her dupes. Kind of the same thing with Springfield. I'd say Springfield even higher than Klukai in that she's amazing at V0. V1 is even better. V3 is really good, and V6 is really good, and she's just all around the best support in the game altogether. And that's why theirs doesn't have units like that you would consider to be tier 0 and maybe like a Pride Win tier list like Vector or Leva on tier 0, because they're more restrictive. Vector is amazing, like super important if you're going with the burn team, but she's kind of tied to that burn team. And it's kind of the same thing with Leva. Leva can compete with Klukai, and I think at V6 even surpass Klukai's damage, but she is tied pretty strictly to the electric team. You can't just throw her in any team. And so that's kind of the same thing you're going to see with the Ice team and Robella. Robella is kind of, she's not completely tied to the Ice team, but her damage will fall off dramatically if she's not in the Ice team. And the other part is she's kind of a in-between of a support and a damage dealer. So it makes sense that she is in tier 2 here. And they have Macchiato and Suomi both in tier 2 as well. Suomi, I could say I'd rate above all of the other Ice team members, because I think she, especially with their expansion key, still has value outside of the Ice team. But overall, Ice has, Robella didn't bring anything to the Ice team that like elevated them in the meta. They are still not able to compete. Like you have Leva that really elevated Electric, because she can do some amazing damage, and that's not even with all of her dupes. You put all her dupes in and she's just destroying. She is at, like I said, Klukai's level of damage. She's just tied to the electric team with that. Robella is kind of in that same situation, except she's not really elevating the team in a way that brings Ice to anything other than, yeah, you get a little bit more damage out of them. But you could just throw a Klukai in the Ice team, and Klukai will provide more damage to that team on an AoE standpoint at V0 than Robella can. Same thing if you take Robella to V6 versus a Klukai V6, you're better off putting that Klukai V6 in that Ice team versus a Robella, because you're going to get more damage out of Klukai just being able to outright out-damage her, versus the buff that she's providing the entire Ice team. Now, the Ice team isn't completely complete yet. As we know, we only have 4 units still that are at the elite level, so there's always a potential for more change. But let's kind of look what they say here on Robella specifically. The Ice buffer again. She does okay damage buffs, but it's only at 1 doll, and they must do ice damage on her kit, or it's okay to must do ice damage or her kit is not going to function. Yeah, so that's the big thing. She's tied to the Ice team. Her kit can function without ice damage. It's just going to drop her value. Like, it's significant drop in value, because the ice damage makes it where they get 2 stacks of that buff versus only 1. And that buff is quite important to stack. Early access defense down for the Ice team. That's the most important thing, is it gives the Ice team a way to get defense down out there that you don't get in any other ways. So if you're wanting to go full Ice team, you do want Robella. Like, even though she's a tier 2, the Ice team synergizes together. If you're wanting to go and those are your favorite dolls, you want Robella. So don't feel like you don't want to pull her just because she's a tier 2 unit. If all of your favorite units are Ice, you want to get all the Ice units. That's just that you need those specific units. And then weapon choices are easy. Once again, there isn't much of a difference between her signature and Svarog, but you can probably find a better use for Svarog. So Svarog has other uses. Like we already seen with like Leva, you can use Svarog pretty well. It actually will work pretty well for Robella as well, as there isn't a dramatic increase in damage utilizing her own. We kind of saw that when I looked at her entire kit there, that there was nothing too crazy there. Now she is okay. And then they have the rating on kind of the dupes as well. And the big thing with Robella, like I saw yesterday, her biggest thing is V6. Everything else there's no reason to push for any other stopping points on her in terms of value. So she's low value on dupes unless you're wanting to push her all the way to V6. And even at V6, I feel like it's a little limited. Now, you'll see a lot of people talk that she basically has the highest damage ceiling with V6 because it can continuously, like, you can get infinite stacks of that exposed weakness, and you can stack up a crap ton of them and do like I think it's like a 500% damage hit with it on just a basic attack. The problem is the fights where it matters the most, like Gunsmoke, you're only going to have 7 turns, and so you're going to have to ramp it up very quickly to get that. You also have the limitations of it requires Macchiato to be doing her counters on the turns that she can do the counters. And if she is down on the counters, you have to maybe switch it over to, say, someone like Suomi or Dush, someone else that can do the ice damage to kind of make up for the fact that she's not doing interceptions there. But so it can be a little bit tricky to get all those buffs even then, and so it's pretty restrictive. And so it does make sense there. Macchiato makes sense as well. She does great damage, but she's just starting to get outclassed by other units. Like Leva just can significantly outdamage her. Nikita can significantly outdamage her. QJ can significantly outdamage her. Shawa can do as well, and she provides a more support capabilities to the burn team, especially when you take into consideration her dupes, because her dupes have a similar capacity to Robella. Like if you can get her all the way to V6, where she doesn't have a she doesn't have that stack limit just like she does, but that thing does a massive amount of damage. Sharkery as an SR just kind of puts that entire burn team together, and then Tololo with Springfield, you already know she's pretty broken, and Vector. So you kind of pretty much have the ice and burn team, or yeah, Hydro and burn team in the top ones, with Leva being the one that really elevates up electric. So ice is kind of still down there. Same thing with physical. Physical's still kind of struggling a little bit, but we will see improvements to them in the future. I mean, we still have more units. They'll eventually have someone that comes out that brings them up. At least we hope. It's kind of the same thing with physical though, because Yuhi kind of has that requirement for more dupes as well to elevate them. But overall, the ice team is definitely on the lower skill still with Robella. But if we take a look at, let's look at this one image here. And this is kind of what showcased it. So this is a video from Sia, where she kind of did a DPS check on them and the test dummy that we don't have available in global, but it is available on CN. So when you kind of watch this, now it works just kind of like a platoon boss, with the main difference being that it doesn't hurt your people, and you can pretty much have it attacks specifically in a way that it will trigger Macchiato's interceptions. So this thing is actually going to be showcasing like maximum damage possibilities. Know that there are some platoon bosses out there where you're not going to be able to get all of Macchiato's interceptions out there. So even if you have her at V2 or V6 and you have that 3rd or 4th interception that she can do, she's not always going to trigger those. And so this is kind of giving you that perfect case scenario with the entire ice team here. Now when we go and look at it here towards the end, you can see this ice team. Now this isn't a full team. This was just testing the ice team, so you don't really need to care about the points. But when they showcase the damage numbers, you can already see where she kind of lies. She is that mix of a buffer and damage dealer. She's not going to surpass Macchiato, but she is giving some more buffs to Macchiato. The nice thing is she's not a replacement for Dush either. She kind of is just supports alongside Dush and then does her own decent amount of damage. So that is how she looks on the number side of things. And I'm guessing, I don't think I've seen a V6 yet. This one isn't V6. We'll probably have videos out for her V6 once Platoon battle starts on the CN side, because they're going to have to borrow. They'll probably borrow someone's V6 to kind of test out that one. So for now, they're only being able to use the units they currently have. So I'll probably do a follow-up on her V6, and we can see how that one works, where you have that infinite stacking. But overall, right now at V0, that's what you're kind of getting there. So she's not quite at Macchiato's level, but it's close enough. But Ice Team overall is still kind of not at that level to bring them up in terms of overall value. But like I was saying, if you like the Ice team, you like all those characters, great team to have. Suomi's still one of my favorite characters. I like how great she sustains, and with her expansion key, I mean, Suomi to me, her value's gone up in terms of sustain. The problem is there's nothing that needs her level of sustain. I mean, your team's never going to not have shields with her basically at this point, but nothing that needs that level of sustain, and that's why I can see why she's still viewed pretty low there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to take a quick look at the tier list updates. But yeah, overall, nothing too crazy, and not going to be a anything that might change your mind on wanting to go all in on Ice. But overall, she's not a terrible unit, and we'll see when we get the next Ice unit how it ends up working out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, subscribe, it really helps, and thanks for watching.